session. Do stay on with us. We're also rejoined by Mr. Tulsian here in studio, and joining us, Dilip Bhat. Gentlemen, to all three of you, a very warm good afternoon to you. I'm going to start, with Dilip, with you, given where we've ended this series, and I know it's a tough call to make for May, but at least between now and let's say the 12th and 13th of May, what are your expectations from these markets?
Menka, I think the direction seems to be that it's going to move northwards. As we get more and more projections and opinion polls, and maybe possibly the exit polls, I think the direction seems to be that it is trying to inch forward, and whatever little correction that we are seeing, it seems to be very short-lived. Though the FII money is not all that great, but I think the market still seems to be in a mood to really be elevated at the moment. But having said that, I think just on our run-up to the elections, I think one should be a little more cautious, and my own prudent approach would be that I would, if out of 100 rupees, I would like to take 30 to 40 rupees out of the market and sit on the cash, because in case if the things work out as what we all think, I think then we can celebrate it by investing at those levels, because after that we have one more event after the new government comes, that is a budget about 1.5 months away. And I think in that run up to the budget, once again there will be a lot of expectations which will keep markets further at the elevated levels. So I think you can participate once that event actually happens. So I would say that in a run up to the election, one should be a little more cautious, take some money, take some profit, keep some money in cash, and then try to participate post elections.
Mr. Chen, you said the 13th is the biggest day for May series.
13 to 15.
13 to 15th. But any kind of numbers or nifty levels that you're working with for the May series?
See, Anuj, actually, there is no point unless until we have the clarity. Just to give you an example, see the kind of uncertainty prevailing in this market. Just to give you an example, the high beta Adani Enterprise, now ruling at 432. Look for the premium of put and call, 440 strike price. I'm taking that means at the money. Yeah. 432, 433, and I'm taking at the 440. Put and call, 440 at the money, put and call, both are having a premium of 45 rupees. So you need to play on your conviction. No point in wasting time that what will be the index level, what will be this, what will be that. Because I've been maintaining my view that there won't be any changes in the Nifty. But can you really make money? As we have discussed, March expiry had happened at 66.40. Today we are going to see the expiry at 68.40. Merely just 200 points, 3% in this election season, when we have been so gung-ho on NDA, Narendra Modi waves and all that, but have people made money on Nifty or indices? So here, if you are playing on your conviction, if you have confidence that yes, Narendra Modi is coming back to the power, why don't you write the 440 put? Or why don't you buy the stock at 432 and write the 440 call at 45 rupees premium? Because in that situation, I don't want to cap the upside. I don't want to protect my downside. I've just sat and pocketed 10% return on my my investment call. And suppose if the Narendra Modi going to come, then the share is not going to fall. Then that means I have the opportunity of writing for June series call as well. Similar is the case, take the Adani port, 25 rupees premium on at the money call. I'm just referring all these things. So try to catch, see the option market have become so expensive. Similar is the case with Z Entertainment. If you really want to ask me, I'll, as I've said earlier also, by 15th May, I'll sit in the stocks which are not immune to all these developments. I won't hesitate writing 260 put of Z Entertainment, taking, because I don't think that they are largely affected by either way. So, you need to be very, smart in strategizing your trades and take a call before playing on any stock or any strategy.
All right, Mr. Tulsian. We're going to have to slip into a quick break so that we're back in time for market closing. Stay right there. We'll be back in a couple.
अब ना कोई दर दर भटकेगा, ना खुद के घर को तरसेगा, इज्जत की छत के साए में भारत का हर दिल धड़केगा।
DHF होम लोन्स। आओ इंडिया घर बनाएं।
Vodafone presents Vikings, co-presented by Etihad Airways, only on History TV18.
It's beautiful. Should we tag this?
Yup, let's find some more trails.
It's my day.
The game is on, guys. Let's play then.
It's life. It's just play.
Woohoo! Should we tag the street or stream? Street!
Let's follow this trail. Hey, this trail is taken.
Must be these guys.
It's my way. It's
Hey, let's tag some more.
Drive it soul. Discover new trails. Tata Safari Storm, the real SUV.
Welcome back. 68.48 is what we have on the Nifty. So it's really remarkable the way the Nifty is closing. It will close at 68.50. The stock of the day for in last 15 or 20 minutes is Bank of Baroda. In fact, this could be the stock of the series as well, as far as the index is concerned. For two consecutive series now, 812 on that stock. Dilip, what's the call on PSU banks? Bank of Baroda has almost doubled from its bear market lows. Valuation-wise, can it run further from here on?
Well, I think, Anuj, by and large, most of the stocks are really trading ahead of its fundamentals. So it's basically the re-rating which is really in progress, which is what we are seeing. Now, coming to PSU banks, I think the problems about the NPAs and the asset quality will still persist probably in this quarter and maybe for 1 or 2 more quarters. But market is pricing in that there is going to be a significant recovery once the new government is in place, and maybe the overall GDP growth will ensure that all the asset quality starts improving. I think that is being a little more optimistic. So I think as far as PSU banks are concerned, I think it's something which one should be very cautious about it, because even the core business, whether we are talking about the credit growth or whether we are talking about the NII growth or NIMs, I think they all will remain muted. So in that background, I would be a little hesitant to really back the PSU banks at the moment from the overall perspective.
Dilip, you said that you'd take at least 30 to 40% of your money off the table. Of the remaining 60% or so, would you churn in terms of the sectors that you would have been invested in, let's say all through this April series, and the sectors that you would prefer to be invested in May? So the question I'm essentially getting at is, do you see some of the defensives like IT, etc., come back into favor in the first 10 days of May as people played a little bit more cautious in the run-up to the exit polls and the final day?
Menka, very much possible. I think as we come up to that event date, I think a cautious approach would mean that the rotation within the sector and possibly IT and pharma really suits very much, because both the sectors really are doing well. They are reasonably good, and I think they are generating free cash. They are still generating good ROEs. And compared to the other stocks which have moved up, where the fundamentals are going to improve in a distant future, I think these two sectors look reasonably good, a reasonable place to hide should something uneventful happen.
Alright, just about 10 seconds left for market closing. So let's just recap the markets for you. It's been a good day for the market, a good series actually. That's coming to an end. 68.50. That's again another new all-time closing high for the market. Let's talk about some of the stocks that have led the market today. Banking really was on top. Bank of Baroda was up 3.5%. Kotak was up 3%. Punjab National Bank was up about 2.5%. Apart from that, HDFC Bank as well, 1.5% higher. Apart from banking, a couple of other stocks that supported the market included the likes of Larsen and Toubro, which was up about 1.8%, and ITC, which was up about 1%. So more of a broad-based participation in trade.
I think Ambuja has also come back, if I'm correct about that. Ambuja has come back well into the green, 2.5% higher at this point in time. On the losing side, you've got, a bunch of tech stocks that are all down today. You've got Kane, which is lower, 3% down. You've got DLF, which is down 3% as well. IDFC, which has been a hot stock through the months of March and April, down about 2.5%. NTPC is down 1.5%. You've got Asian Paints lower, United Spirits lower. If you were looking at some of the consumer-facing companies, Hindustan Unilever ending in the red. ITC, though, as Anuj pointed out, ending with gains in this series. Mixed bag for auto today, and I'd say, a mixed bag for IT as well. Pharma, though, was all in the green when it came to the Nifty. Anuj, mid-cap space?
Yeah, mid-cap space, interesting moves in last hour of trade, Menkap. Stocks like Apollo Tyres, for example. Again, stocks with momentum came back in last hour of trade. So Apollo Tyres ended the day at day's high, 3% higher. Not too much in percentage terms, but from expiry level, that looked good. Urban Mills, almost at 200 now, that stock. 42% gain for this year on Urban, 62% gain for Apollo Tyres. So that's been the kind of run that we've seen in some of these names. Apart from that, just for today, the big gainers for Future Retail, that was up 6%, and MTNL, that was up about 5% or so. So some sort of gains over there in today's trade. Mr. Tulsian, just to extend the point that I asked Dilip, Bank of Baroda, I mean, it came out with a shocker of a number for two quarters, had a complete de-rating, but has almost now rallied 80-90%.
And amongst the best performers this series, 15% up.
Year to date as well now, big run, but is it now getting overvalued?
See, Anuj, we need to ask a question to ourselves that, why we did not look in the fundamentals 3 months back. If you take the case of maybe Axis Bank or Bank of Baroda, in fact, including all. Axis Bank, nobody was, people, or same thing with the Yes Bank, people have been talking of the family or maybe the feud between the promoters and all kind of things, and nobody was looking to the stock. And now after having run up almost double, we still feel that, no, yes, there are good fundamentals, maybe the government coming in, you will be seeing the good stability. We are talking of the stocks like MTNL also. So I'm giving, that's what I in fact replied, that if I have so much confidence of stability coming back, or maybe Narendra Modi coming back, I'll write, maybe the Adani Power and Adani Enterprise and Adani Port as the puts. Sure. Or maybe, I'll buy the stocks and...
But Bank of Baroda in particular?
No, that's what I say, that I don't find the valuations. In fact, these valuations are bizarre for it. Just see the chart of Allahabad Bank now. 94.50, there was a volume of about 15 lakhs. It got dropped by 1 rupee 50 paisa. Maybe in 10 minutes, you see the chart after 245. Again, it bounced back. So you see how much open interest will get lapsed. And so unless until you have these kind of if you don't have the cash delivery adjusted on the expiry day, you are going to see this kind of volatility coming in. That's an interesting case, if you amongst all the. So yes, PNB, Bank of Baroda, Bank of India, they have all been into the strong hands. Maybe the Canara Bank, but not like the stocks like Allahabad Bank or maybe Andhra Bank or UCO Bank or Oriental Bank. There you say this kind of weakness and you see the similar chart pattern. If you have exited your quantity of say 20 lakhs, maybe at 335, 310, you can easily create a long at 320 because you just have to allow those open interest to get lapsed. You are not looking for rollover. So there is no technical factors are playing more in case of bank stocks rather than fundamentals at this stage.
Sudarshan, shifting attention to metal stocks, Hindalco has been amongst the top performers this series, up 16%. Would you say it's time to get out of this stock as we head into May?
Yes, for short-term traders, that's quite correct. The stock has been stalling. It's also done its bit. The chances are that stocks that are stalling at this point will go through a rough patch till May 12, and Hindalco is going to be one of them.
Would Tata Steel also be one of them? Up 13% this series?
Tata Steel is a little better than Hindalco. The stock is actually rallying. So at some point that resistance will kick in, but perhaps there is some more upside here.
Sudarshan, for the series, the biggest loser was DLF, down 13%. The biggest winner was Unitech, up 43%. Really big moves in opposite directions. How would you trade real estate in the month of May? Some of these stocks, maybe even including stocks like HDI and Indiabulls Real Estate.
So I wouldn't have traded them in April, and the same theory and theme continues in May. You don't trade real estate stocks because there is no trend here. DLF was up for some reason which we don't understand. The charts were not even suggesting it. And I mean, DLF was down. First it was up and then it fell down. And Unitech's rally, is best left unsaid. So real estate is not the sector of choice. Please avoid it.
All right, final question to you then, Dilip. What are some of the stocks you're keeping an eye on in this last week of this month and as we come into May?
Well, I think I continue to like something like Larsen & Toubro in this particular engineering and the capital goods space. I think in the banking space, Axis Bank still looks reasonably okay to hold on to from the current levels. I think in the auto space, I would still like to go for something like a Hero Honda or a Bajaj Auto from the current levels. In the IT space, maybe something like a TCS or something like a Wipro. And in the pharma space, something like a Sun Pharma or Orbindo Pharma. Some of the stocks which I think appears to be good, and even United Phosphorus, which appears to be a little more defensive and very reasonably priced even from the current levels. So these are some of the stocks that I would continue to hold on even from the current levels.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to thank you here for joining us this Wednesday, and happy voting to all three of you. Let's hope the Mumbai turnout is a good one this time round. Sudarshan, you don't vote tomorrow, but Dilip, to you and to Mr. Tulsian, thank you very much to all three of you for joining us. We're going to slip into a quick short break. When we come back, Mumbai goes to the polls tomorrow. We'll talk about the key candidates